So, okay. So it's uploading, and I think
A
we
bit of
are
a delay, yeah.
already live, I guess. I have to look if I can find it on my tablet. Yeah, we are. So, okay.
Awesome.
So it's uploading. Yeah. So we are live. Then I will make first. I will give the people who want to join us here on the show a little bit time to jump in. So
Excellent. Give them a few
I
minutes.
I can share the link with Terry, and we can wait also a little bit for Ram.
There you
So
go.
okay, so I sent the link in our Facebook group.
And now we're live. Boom. So
Yeah.
what did you guys do today? Oh, that's right. You're going to bed. You just woke up. You've been sleeping all day. There, Lars, and Ram as well. Terry, what time is it? Midday for you?
Yeah, midday here in Australia. Yeah.
Nice,
Uh,
nice.
it's a beautiful sunny day outside. Mhm.
Excellent. Yeah, we have a very windy day. It's 10 o'clock here in Boise, Idaho. So it's 10 p.m. It's very windy. I think my back patio thing was about ready to blow away. I'm glad it's been bolted down. So,
Hi,
but
Ram.
we've just been hanging out. It's been a nice day. Ram, what's going on, man?
Very good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
It's early for you. It's 5.
It's
Yeah,
5.
it's
It's
early
5,
for
and
you.
I thought I best just come to work and do this because my son's going to wake up in a little while, and he'll not let anything happen. So I thought safer just to come into work and do it. But
Yeah.
how are you all doing?
Fine,
Doing
thank
good,
you.
man.
Excellent. What time is it? Has it just gone past noon out of yours, Terry?
That's fine. You look
Okay.
calm.
It's going to be about 20-something degrees, so I'm probably a bit overdressed, to be perfectly honest. But it's a little
Yeah,
chilly.
but it's cold. It's early morning. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
It's all right.
So, yeah, good. All right. So I hope you guys didn't have to wait too long for me.
No, not too bad at all. So we I just put the kids to bed and charged my phone a little bit and started up with this. So it's gonna be good. I gotta plug it in real quick here.
Excellent, excellent. I've been having some weird dreams last night.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So I watched. I started watching the first few episodes of The Tiger King.
Yes. Good
Okay.
I don't know.
job. Good
Have you
man.
guys heard of it? Have you guys heard of
Yeah.
it? I'm sure you must have, right? Lars, have you heard
The
about it?
TRC team.
Yeah, of course. I get permanent advertising about this, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
on
That's
thousand channels, I get advertising for this.
oh, good. I
Oh
know you
yeah.
guys have been.
It's awesome. I thought it was hilarious. The whole TRC team has been talking and watching it and doing stuff. You know, my wife has Mommy Meme Jeans. It's her Instagram meme
Yeah.
page, and she made a post about Tiger King and then posted it on her Twitter, and that blew up. And then she posted it on her Instagram, and that blew up. And like all the big news organizations here in the U.S. have posted it because of Tiger King. So my wife has gained probably 2,500 followers on her Instagram
Wow.
page. She's at 23,000 now
Brilliant.
for her memes. So all because of the Tiger King. No, but she's her stuff's been really kicking off. So it's been kind of fun. But a fun show I watched the other night was the Foreigners, and it's an HBO show from Norway, and it's about what it would be if all the countries in the world, it's centered in Oslo, but it's at this time all the countries in the world have time travelers from their own each country that randomly appear. So you've got like the Neolithic, you've got like the Viking Age, you've got like 16 to 1800 people, they just randomly appear like out of nowhere, and they're like even surprised because now they're in this new time, and how the country like deals with what they call a beforeigner.
Okay.
And it's really fun. So we watched it on HBO, but it's a really fun show, and it's I think 6 episodes, but just a ton of fun and really thought provoking in that way of like looking at an immigration in a totally different light, in the sense that they are people from that country, but it's, you know, from different time
Okay.
periods.
No,
So
no,
it's
interesting.
pretty cool. Yeah. So
Yeah, no,
Wow.
this was crazy. Just the more you get into it, you think, my God, what are these people up to? Yeah, so yeah,
Back-
fine.
Well,
Very good background.
you like that, Tara? That's my truck.
That's cool.
It's easier than pulling it in. It's cold outside and the
The
truck's
famous
dirty. So,
Ragnarok.
yeah, that's my Suburban 3/4 ton with the 8.1 liter big block Chevy Suburban. So license plates say 8.1 liter. The license plates say Ragnarok on it. So,
That's it.
but yeah. So what have you guys been up to this week? How, you know, it's been a little over a week since we did this last, and what's been going on?
Yeah. Well, I can. This week, I've been playing with a new toy. I don't know if any of you have seen these before.
What is that?
It's a digital paint depth gauge, but it's a European made gauge, and it's quite different from your traditional gauges. It has, if you can see the end, you see the shape of the end?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that enables you to measure curved panels, whereas usually you're limited to measuring flat panels. And this is a modern one that connects to your phone by Bluetooth.
Oh, yeah.
And it will detect different layers of paint and filler. And I'll maybe try on my computer case so you can see.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it gives you a reading, and it also tells you if it's like this one. There's a message at the bottom. I'm not sure if it comes out on the screen, but it says paint layer is too thin. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. And it also tells you if it's got a second paint layer.
Okay.
And the other thing you can do, which is really cool, is that you will take multiple readings on the car, and then you can press print to a printer, and it will print out a report showing you all the readings across the car.
Oh my gosh, that's genius.
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the price is quite reasonable.
So for the guy who is not a detailer in this group, so you check the thickness of the paint, that you know it is, you can do a paint correction or you can't do, and
how much can you remove?
How much you can remove and all of this. This is what this system will help you.
It's an essential tool for any detailer. And at the moment, most of the gauges are Chinese-made gauges on the market. And these ones made in Europe, so they're good quality, latest generation. And I've just received 30 of them. So I'll be, I haven't announced them to the detailing public in Australia yet, but we'll be selling them starting from next week.
Awesome. That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I always, you know, when I was using Lars, I was using a paint thickness gauge for years, was mostly because I do a lot of classic cars, and the customers would always be like, "Oh, it's a, you know, it's an original paint job. It's not a respray." When I could see the extra paint in the on the rubber and on the trim and all the stuff from the actual, that fact that it's a new paint job. And a lot of these people just wouldn't know, but a lot of them wouldn't want us to polish it. And I would use a paint thickness gauge, a lot of it, to show them, and then reference like, well, actually from the factory in 1954, Lincoln Continental should have had this kind of paint thickness, and this is reading at almost here. So this has the old primer, the old paint, another coat, probably 3 more coats, and then 6 or 7 coats of primer on top, or of clear on top of it. So a lot of them was to document just the old cars. The other thing was just to document newer cars or cars that had been, like my dad had a 350Z and a Nissan, and the roof was really thin, you know, and it was something where we could, you know, I could tell him, look, you got this much pops, I can polish it out and I can coat it and we can try and save it, or we can put this wipe on clear coat and hopefully make it last a little while longer, because the clear's, you know, not bad, but there's not a lot left. So it is a indispensable tool. So, but to have the full printout, I mean, we were just notepadding it, like right front fender, 4 points, you know, hood, you know, these points, like just getting a general overall reading in our head and looking at all the numbers. So to have it just done for us, man, that's wicked. That's cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Dig it.
How was Easter? How was Easter for everyone? Did you guys get up to much? I know, Levi, you got up to a few bits with the kids.
Yeah, my folks drove over and threw Easter eggs out the window. No, they showed up early in the morning, put some Easter eggs out in the front yard, and then hopped back in their truck and gave us a call and said, hey, we're out front. Grab the kids, have them grab their baskets, so they could watch from their vehicle in front of our house, and the kids hunted the Easter eggs in the front yard. And so
drive through Easter.
Yeah, and my parents put cash. They put money in the eggs, and so my kids were stoked because I think each one of them got like $35. So they were pretty happy about that. So, but other than that, it was just a nice, easy Sunday. So hanging out. So
cool.
How about you guys?
Yeah, it's the same for me. So I don't normally we have to share our time with my parents-in-law and with my parents. They live also far away from each other, so this time was not possible to travel and keep special distance to older people. Of course, my parents-in-law and my parents are not the youngest, because when you see me, you know.
We're the same age. You know, it's the same. When they see
no,
me.
I'm a bit older than you. I'm a little bit older.
Right. Like a half a second.
Half a second. Yes, thank you, Levi. Thank you. No, but of course, so we don't do this. So we had you know, we have the Friday and the Monday in Germany is a bank holiday always. So we have 4 days off, and that is always nice, and it was very, very cool. And I mean, what for me is now, you know, I have 2 daughters. My oldest daughter is now 22, so she's anyhow not anymore looking for eggs in the garden. Or but my smaller daughter, she's now 13, and she say also, Daddy, I don't have to search.
I have to search for this. Yeah.
I'm now 13, so I don't want to do this. So the time is running, and yeah, this when I see kids in your age, Levi, and I remember back, that was a nice time when the kids in this age is, and they running around in the garden and looking for chocolate and for the Easter things, and so that was very, very good. But my small daughter is very happy because she has now she's talking a long time for AirPod Pros. And she get 1-2 Easter, so she's
nice.
very happy.
So she's stoked. Yeah, that box is checked.
Yeah, my yeah. And Terry, your kids are also not longer in this age that they are happy to run around in the garden, I guess. Huh?
They the chocolate. They don't want to be bothered with hunting for eggs. But we had a quiet weekend. I had some colours to mix for Colour Lock, so we were busy mixing colours and packing orders. It was a busy weekend for online orders. So we had everything packed up ready to go on the Tuesday morning when the post office opened. Yeah. So, but we work from home, so we didn't have to go anywhere, and with the lockdown and situation.
You have the best.
Anyway.
You have the best stock from all of us, for sure.
Yeah.
Because what you guys don't know, his stock, when you look outside of the window from Terry's stock, you look on the sea.
Yeah.
You can see his boat, and then you look on the sea. So it's just, and dolphins are jumping around. And, yeah, very, very crazy. Very nice.
Lars or Ram, how about you?
Yeah, what's up with you?
Yeah, my son's at an age where he likes the idea of it, but he doesn't have the patience to stick with it for.
Grasp it.
Yeah, he doesn't stick with it for too long. So you start doing it, and before long, it's just me and my wife are doing treasure hunts and Easter egg hunts, and he's running around doing something else. So we started it, but very quickly gave up as well.
Well,
but yeah, just
put money in it and get him, or cars. Right now, he's car hungry.
Maybe
a bunch of little Hot Wheels or Matchbox cars.
Yeah,
each egg, and then it's like,
Yeah, we actually did get him something over the weekend. We went to one of the local supermarkets and got him, because we're just thinking of toys to buy him now every other weekend just to keep him entertained. Because it's a long time now to be at home, and I think we can start to sense that he's missing school in certain aspects.
Just he's hanging out with other kids. This week was the first week my kids started school online.
Okay.
And so Augie did that. Like, he had a show and tell for kindergarten.
Okay.
And he was jacked to be able to sit on the laptop, see all his classmates. He was sitting there with his 2 stuffed animals, and he was so excited to talk to them and like see them. And as each one would come on, he'd be like, "Hey!" And so you got all these 5-year-olds like waving at each other, doing what we're doing, but like they're 5 years old. And so it was funny to watch them all, and the teacher's trying to mute them all because they're all talking at once. But it was the fact that he saw his friends. I think we don't think about that in their eyes, that some of their best friends are the people that they see every day, or their routine has been shifted quite significant.
Absolutely.
Even if they're little, it's still a routine that is been disrupted for them. So I think he's feeling it.
He is. He goes through the longest breakfast ever these days. He's like, just to finish a bowl of cereal is like an hour and a half, and you're just stood there thinking like, come on, mate, just get this done and over with. But no, work-wise, it was really busy. A similar sort of trend that you had, Terry. We came back here on Tuesday to a lot of orders, literally a lot of orders. I think we had over 200 orders. Which was a lot to get through. And of course, at the same time, little bits like we're starting to run out of supplies now, things that come from Royal Mail directly, like printing labels and stuff like that. But, we're starting to run out of that. We're waiting for a shipment to come in. That's just part and parcel. So that was
you have other products as well. Is it just Color Lock?
No, just Color Lock.
Amazing. That's great.
Yeah, we were inundated. Like even yesterday, we had a lot of orders. Even today, it seems like the numbers are growing. So yeah, no, it's a busy time for us.
Fantastic. Well done.
No, cool. All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
that's good, man. I went in yesterday and set up the new lift in our studio. So I now have the lift that Matt has in his garage, the scissor lift.
Yeah.
So we got that installed. Got it set down. Each piece of it, basically the ramps, each ramp is 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
And so that was heavy, because we had to put on the forklift and then angle the forklift and slide them into place. But I had to measure out the spots where we were going to put it. First, we started by putting the Suburban in the spot to see just how big of a vehicle, like if we had where we would be able to place it.
Yeah.
And then we centered it between the wheelbase, so between the center points of each wheel on the Suburban, found that center, and then built the whole, put it all together from there. So tomorrow I'm going in to bolt it to the floor. We got it all hooked up enough that it'll go up. Tomorrow we're going to lift it up and then bolt it in. And then hopefully end of the week, we've got all our flooring should be arriving either end of the week this week or first of next week. So all of our Swiss Trax flooring will be in. And I got all my airlines. So all the airlines showed up from Rapid Air. So we're going to start plumbing the airline system and everything in the shop. And so
Okay. What about Fraser? Is he still there or?
No, Fraser had to go back home. So
Okay.
Fraser hopped on a plane on Saturday. So Terry, we're talking about Fraser from Wowo's Detailing out of Scotland, out of Glasgow. So he came to Boise prior to before they stopped the international travel. And he had to quarantine for 2 weeks from us. And so he's been just working in his building by himself, like just trying to get some of the stuff up. We've got a container on the way with the rest of the products and chemicals and stuff to start manufacturing in the new building. And it has it's one of those things where it's taken a long time, and he was getting to a spot where he had some dead space, but his family member, I think his grandmother, got sick, and she's not doing very well. So he kind of got an emergency flight to fly back to Glasgow. So he left on Saturday and was in Chicago on Sunday morning when I called him. He was waiting on his, getting ready to get on his plane to head to Glasgow. So he was not happy about having to leave because he was not sure, you know, when he gets there, he's going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So he's like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to see her. Hopefully she'll still be alive in 2 weeks and I can get there. He's hoping he doesn't, you know, get there and then she passes and he has to go to the funeral. So, and then he wants to be able to come back, but I don't think he's going to be able to come back for a while without, you know, so kind of not the right time for him to fly back home, but you know, it is what it is. So
Germany's eased out restrictions a bit more now. I was reading, Lars, and I think shops and stuff should start to open in Germany. Businesses should be able to operate again as normal.
No, as normal, not. But so the school is still closed to April May 4. So Monday, the 4th of May, or how you say it, yes.
Yeah.
And then they will start slowly with all these classes who finish this year, the school, and also we have this priority school. When the people go from the priority school to the next school, so this class is in some areas it's the class 4, and in other areas class 6. So they will start with this kind of schools slowly, and all shops what has less than 800 square meter, what is, I think, in square feet, it is
like 16,
something like this, yeah.
1600.
1600, yeah. What is allowed to open when they have a hygienic distance system. So they have to care for that not too much people are inside. They have to care for that they don't have a line outside of waiting people and something like this. And hairdressers are able to open also in the first week of May again, when they have a hygiene system and an idea how to cover the stuff, so, or how to mask the stuff, or to care for this. So they do it a little bit more open, and but what I feel also yesterday evening when I drive from the office home, you know, it's 300 kilometers. It feels more and more that the life come back. So the traffic is more than 2-3 weeks ago, and everything comes more and more normal now in Germany. So also when you go to a supermarket, you don't see. I mean, social distance is 1.5 meter is what you have to care for it, and in the supermarket now the cashiers has a
screen.
Plastic
Like a plastic screen in front of them.
And acryl or something.
We went to the pizza joint tonight to pick up some pizza that we ordered, and they had put those on, and they completely covered their entire walk-up counter and they had put little hooks in and then, you know, hung these panels. And I was like, wow, like it's just funny to see all the different, as each restaurant or place has been, you know, adding these new things. Yeah. They just extended the order, I think, here in Idaho for till the end of the month for sure. But they're looking at, I'm pulling it up here to see what they said. Yeah, so April through April 30th. So they're running it through the end of the month. And he's still keeping bars, restaurants, all the places closed. He's basically saying that if you're a non-essential business, like what they're saying in Germany, if you're of this size and you can keep social distancing and you can provide proper sanitation, then you can reopen, as long as you're not still providing, you know, public, or, you know, so much public access. So that's kind of been helping some folks. So it'll be interesting to see how it, you know,
I mean, in Germany, it's still worst for all the restaurants, no? Because also we don't have this culture normally to pick up food, you know. So it's a bit more normal. My experience when I'm in the US, and it's a bit more normal for you guys to drive to a restaurant, pick up food, take it with you, or eat it in the car, or eat at home.
Yeah,
that is something what Europeans don't do normally, you know.
Yeah,
of course, we have a drive-through on McDonald's or something like this.
Yeah,
but so normally to pick up food is not really normal. I mean,
and it's not as normal in the US. We'll put it that way. There are still a lot of, if you're going to a restaurant, you're still going to eat at the restaurant.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
of course.
The Ram restaurant that you guys came with us to. My wife and I used to pick up to go. We would order, and I'd order a couple steaks and some stuff to go. And then it was because we lived so close to the restaurant that I could make it home and it was still hot.
Yeah.
The problem was when we moved into our other house, our previous house than this one, it was much farther away. And so by the time I got there, it was cold and I'd have to put it in the microwave to heat it back up. And then I was like, why did I just spend the money to I'll just go get some steaks at the store and cook them myself. Like, this is, you know, so I totally understand.
Yeah.
You know, it can be very hard now. So
so for this is the competition for traditional restaurants where you get traditional German food, that they really not prepare to give food outside or deliver or something like this. And that is funny to see that also very traditional. You know, I live in a very small village here with 500 people, and one small village far away is also a small restaurant, Blunker Bahnhof, and they start to open the window in the kitchen and give out the traditional German food. So that is, but for this people it's still hard, you know. So that is the people who run the restaurant.
Restaurants, Lars. Drive-through sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut, yeah. Spargel, sauerkraut, all of this. So for these people it's still difficult, and it's still not allowed to open restaurants. That is finally what I want to say. So it's still not allowed to open restaurants in Germany, and they have still to wait for the first week in May. So and I really hope for all these folks that they when they do reopening, that the people start to go there and fill up, that the people earn quickly money to cover up this heavy gap. No?
Yeah. Hopefully they can, you know, it'll smooth itself out. But
but a lot of retailers are starting to come back to work, I think, or at least not a lot, but let's say a few. Some of them, like one I was speaking to yesterday, one of our customers, he was saying that he's adapted his business slightly. So he's gone mobile again, rather than having people come to him. You know, he's charging less, obviously, as a service, but, you know, it just means that he can go out and be doing jobs. So I think from a detailing perspective, I think the clear winners are going to be obviously the ones who are in it for the long haul, as opposed to ones who are just there to to make sort of short-term cash. But at the same time, I think people who can adapt very, very quickly to the needs and demands of the customers at this particular point in time are the ones who are gonna do well. I think because I think customers still want to have their cars detailed. They still want their cars to be cleaned and whatnot. But as a detailer, I suppose it's just important to find a way where you're keeping yourself safe and not putting your customers at harm as well.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No, it is going to be interesting to see how we do. We've been, the Rag Company, we've been trying to use this time to promote as many detailers as we can, and I'm disappearing here. But Lars, you're doing that new podcast with Patrick from Rag Company Europe.
Yeah. That works very, very well. Yeah, we call it Detailing Talk Europe, and the idea is, we have 27 countries in Europe, and we want to talk to a detailer who is deep in the detailing industry in his own country. So the idea is to have 27 sessions minimum and talk to every country. Yeah. So and we did now 2 episodes. One is live already, so you can look it on YouTube. The first one what we did is with Raphael from Maniac Auto in France. He's based in Paris, and he's a little bit talking about what's going on, what is the situation, what is the detailing scene in France, and what is his business and what he's doing. And I'm very happy that we speak round about an hour and 50 minutes. We talking not about Corona, so really about how is the detailing industry in France. So very, very interesting from my point of view. And yesterday we did a recording with Lukasz from Wrocław, Breslau in Poland. And that is a very interesting podcast as well, because so we will launch it beginning next week. So we have to cut it a little bit to make it a bit more fancy, so then we will upload it. But in Poland, is it completely different, the situation in compared to all other countries in Europe. So that is very interesting. And the next one is what I'm very proud about it is with Marcello from Italy. So we do the next. So the next what we will upload it is with Lukasz from Poland, and next week we will record it then with Marcello from Garage Italia, how to detailing. With him, and he's a guy who doing detailing on a different level, and I'm really looking forward what he's can tell us how the situation is in Italy. Is it a big detailing scene or small, or is so not in every country is this word detailing a word what people understand, you know what I mean? So so they say, what do you mean with detailing? They don't have a connecting to cars or something like this. So very interesting. We will see how's going on. So, and I mean, Patrick and me, we are new in this kind of doing podcasts or interviews or whatever. So we have to train a little bit by ourselves. But I think what our guests are talking is interesting for everybody who is in the detailing scene, and we can learn from each other. That is the main thing in the end, I think so just listen what's going on in France and pick up what is good for your country and do this. Now, also in Poland, what Lukasz yesterday told is it's very what they have a lot of detailing academies, so a little bit what the IDA do also in the US, no? But they have companies what just offer training. They don't do detailing by themselves. They just offer training, and they have different kind of training systems. 1 week training, for dental, also remove dentals, or 1 day, 1 week training, paint correction, a 2-day training of all the different kind of permanent coatings or wrapping, and what he's also talking about is that more and more dealerships are offering this service straight away when you get a brand new car. What is in Germany not existed. I don't know how it is in the US, but I think also in UK and in Australia, you don't have this. When you go to a Mercedes dealership, you can't choose a clear full wrapping, or so. But in Poland, is it something what the dealerships already offer? So when you buy or you lease a new car, you can also buy straight away for this new car a clear full wrapping. I don't know how the correct word is.
So it's PPF.
PPF, yeah. So a PPF wrapping, you can
protection film.
Yeah, you already can buy this when you buy a brand new car, you know. So, and they have own stuff, or they have a joint venture or something together with the detailer, with the local detailer, you know.
So in the US, yes, it is like that. In many of the at least here in Boise, a lot of the dealerships do that. But many of the factory PPF that you can get financed in when you buy the car is a very low quality PPF.
That's the same. That's the same what Lucas says. So Lucas
it's not a good quality one. So to go to a proper shop and maybe get like Expel or one of the other large brand names, Suntech or Lumar or any of those companies, you basically have to go to an actual authorized installer unless that dealership has that. I don't know if Terry, if that's the same way in Australia.
Yeah, Australia, you can get paint protection at any dealership. They offer it as an upsell on all sales of cars, but for PPF, it's not so common through the dealership.
Yeah, I'd say the same in the UK. PPF is not that common within the dealership, but ceramic coatings are. So, but I don't think any of these dealerships have in-house staff. So they don't have an in-house team who offer this. They usually work with local detailers who go out and do the job for them. But it's becoming. I think a lot of brands have sort of caught onto it, and they're thinking that that's an area where they can capitalize on. So they can offer to put their teams in those dealerships, or if the dealerships want to take staff on board, then the detailing companies would train them, so on and so forth. So they can sort of sell those add-ons right at the outset.
Yeah.
I think that's the trend.
What was interesting what Lucas said was also what you say also, Levi, that he say also maybe the quality is not always so good with the in-house stuff. But he say what the effect is finally that people get notice of these options, and the dealerships are very often, in compare to a good detailer, also a bit more expensive. They have to pay all the big rent and everything, so they have to charge a little bit more. But the end customer get notice of this option and start to search, and then he find a one-man show, who has maybe on Google a 5-star recommendation or something like this. So they do advertising and make it known for everybody that this is this kind of options are available on the market. So this is very interesting, and this is something what I can say also for leather repair and or recoloring or refreshing furnitures, or also seats, and a lot of people don't know that it's possible to do. They always think, I have to change the seat, I need a new one, or it's maybe too expensive, or it doesn't look so worse, but it also doesn't look very well. And the nice thing is when you are a detailer and you added leather repair to your business and you start to do a little bit advertising, you don't have to do a lot because the people are talking around, but because they say, oh, there's a guy who can do this, what you have, what is damaged. Oh, really? Yeah, that's just $300, for example. No? So in compared to 1,200 bucks
Yeah.
brand new leather cover seat. No? So and that is a little bit the same like this. What the dealerships do with the detailing things when they offer this, they do at the same time. I mean, on one way, of course, it's competition, but the benefit that more people get knowing about these options is much more bigger. And it's the same with leather repair. You just have to tell the people what is possible to do, and then you get straight away customers. No?
Yeah. No, exactly. So, Terry, one thing we were talking about earlier was we wanted to ask you, like, tell us more about your company, about yourself, about work that you do, because I know, not to toot my own horn, but I know some people probably know enough about me, and I don't know anything about you. So,
yeah, let us know what's going on in Australia in the detailing scene.
Well, I represent a few brands here. I'm the sole importer and distributor for Swiss Wax in Australia and New Zealand. And I also do Colorlock, the sole importer for Colorlock in Australia. I also have some coatings, paint coatings, which I sell, Max Protect, which I import and distribute in Australia. I'm a repairs master distributor for Australia. Festool, automotive retailer. I have a number of brands that I sell and purchase, and I'm the, it's just a family business. Myself and my wife, we run this business together. So I don't have any staff. So we tend to be quite busy because we do everything. And it's.
Oh, you have kids, no?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the cheapest stuff.
And so it's quite full on here. I also do all the training, so Swiss Wax certified detailer training. I'd like to do Colorlock training one day, but I'm not at that level yet. I'm still learning. But Lars will be coming out again once we sort out this travel restrictions, and we'll be running another round of training for Australia for Colorlock. And but the detailing market here is a very strong market. I've spoken to a number of detailers in the last week or two, and some are doing well, some are feeling the pinch, especially if they have a shop where they're paying rent. That can be difficult for them. Mm-hmm. But if they're mobile, not too bad because they don't have the overheads. So there's a mixture of, some people are doing well, some people are struggling a little bit. For us, I may have mentioned on the last time we spoke, retail sales are strong through the website, so online sales are very good. But I noticed that the orders from professional detailers is dropping, and that's to be expected, I guess, because it all has a snowball effect for all of us. Yeah.
What is without Corona? How's the situation in Australia? Do you have in every city detailers in every small village as well? Or I mean, mostly the people in Australia live in hotspots, I think, and close to the sea mostly. Now, that is in the countryside is nothing going on. So how is this? And do you have mostly one-man shows, or is it real companies and brands who do detailing? How does it work?
So mostly it's sole operators. One-man shows is the most common. And yes, it's a very big industry, so we have car detailers everywhere. Also in the marine industry, we've got a lot of boat detailers. We also have, like for Swiss Wax, we have dedicated motorcycle detailers who only do motorbikes day after day after day. And so it's a very, I would say it's a very big industry here. Our country is quite large, which offers challenges. but it's a great industry. It's been, I think there's a lot of people doing very well out there in our industry.
Okay, what's about brands? Is everything? I mean, you are deep in the industry. You know all the brands across the global. So is everything available in Australia, or I mean,
You can get
you are a bit on the side on the earth, so I know that some things is difficult to get. I mean, not especially detailing stuff. So uh, yeah, when you look on your supermarket situation, or when you look on your hardware market situation, I think Australia just have one main hardware market, no? I forgot the name. What is the name of it? The main hardware market in Australia? What?
Bunnings. Are you talking about Bunnings?
Yeah, I talk about Benning. So so how is it with all the products for car detailing? Is everything available, and is it more expensive, or how is the situation?
It is expensive because if you're shipping from Europe, for example, it's a long way to come, and Australia is not a cheap country. Import costs are high, transportation costs are high, labor costs are high. So yeah, so getting anything from overseas is quite expensive, but everything's available. There's normally you can find everything you need for the detailing industry. So PPF films, coatings, detailing supplies, everything's available. And we're quite close to Asia, so there's a lot of products that come in from Asia through Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, China. Yeah, China is quite dominant here with Chinese goods. So yeah, everything's available. We don't have a problem, only the price. Yeah.
Okay. And where's is there a hotspot or something like this that you say? So it's going more on in Sydney or Melbourne, or
Sydney and Melbourne are always the busiest areas. They've got the highest population, the largest accumulation of wealth in those areas. So yeah, so they are the hotspots. I think for Western Australia, we're a little bit detached. In Australia, they have a joke for Western Australia's WA, which stands for wait a while, because we have to wait for everything to be shipped over. These days, it's getting faster. I mean, years ago, it used to be quite a problem. But nowadays, digital technology, couriers are very fast, so it's not so much a problem anymore.
Okay. And do you have a detailer show? I mean, something like Waxstock, or
Not like what we do have the normal car shows,
Yeah.
but not really anything that's dedicated to detailing. So yeah, I just got back from Sydney just before the coronavirus lockdown, where I spent a couple of weeks over there for the Sydney Harbour Concourse, and that was a fantastic event. And we were working for 2 weeks non-stop, detailing cars, preparing cars for the show. And a lot of these customers have collections, so usually they have 2 or 3 cars each for us to do. So we work our way through their collections of cars, and it's wonderful. It's great, but it's a long way to go. People don't realise Sydney to Perth, or for me to fly to Sydney, it's 3,500 kilometres. So that's the same distance as London to Moscow, and I go over there every year, sometimes twice a year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. You forget how big that country is.
Yeah.
So.
But you're originally from the UK, Terry. Is that correct?
Yes, not far from you. Originally I was born in Lewisham, in London,
Okay.
but I lived in Luton for 28 years.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Can't blame you for leaving Luton and going to the Oz. So. I mean, that's nice as a place it is. I'm sure you prefer living in Australia than in Luton.
Yeah. In London.
Was that, sorry?
So you're in London. Where's your business located?
So we're not far away from Heathrow Airport. We're literally just about a 15, 20-minute drive from Heathrow Airport in a place called Feltham. But the thing with London is, ideally I would have liked to be in the center of London, but we needed a warehouse. So the prices that we pay for rent is just ridiculous. I mean, even here for about a 1,200 square feet space, it costs us about $3,500 a month. So that is the biggest strain for us. But obviously, with there's advantages and disadvantages to being in London. But I think for the business that we're involved in, especially with color lock and leather care and leather repair, I think we had to be. It was important that we are where we are, and that we're easily reachable, accessible for a lot of people down south. So I think that is quite useful for us.
Yeah.
Especially to get to a lot of the shows as well. So Birmingham's about a couple of hours away. Goodwood's about an hour and a bit away. So a lot of the action is concentrated down south, and the online stuff. Well, you get online orders from anywhere, don't you? So
your rent is 3,000. That's pounds, right? £3,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's the biggest strain for us. And when I speak to a lot of our customers who've got who are a bit sort of tucked away, further away from London, their rents are a lot cheaper. So perhaps a consideration for us to make maybe in the future. So we're not in the center of London. We're in one of the suburbs. So maybe just drift a bit further out, where we're still easily accessible, but rents are at least a little bit cheaper.
Yeah. Say in Boise, we're 8 hours. So Boise's 8 hours away from Seattle, and 5 hours from Salt Lake. And so we get everything shipped to us from overseas to Seattle. And then we only have to pay for, container to be attached to a truck and deadheaded down to Boise. It's just a one-way trip basically. And that only costs about $1,000 per container. And so that's kind of the way Jeff sees it. Is he says it's his competitive advantage because our rent is so cheap. You would probably throw up, Ram, if you heard how low it is. But
I think
we're at 65,000 square feet total in our facility, our whole campus. So we've got 5. So we signed. So when you guys were here, we had the three buildings plus the 2 new buildings we were working on. We just secured the newest building right next door. And that's just a big open warehouse, about 10,000 square feet. So it's we'll say land's cheap here. And but that helps us because the price is so inexpensive that $1,000 to just have it, because we could be in Seattle and be close to a port city and have no problem with all the importing that we do. But the price of living and rent and all that is just absolutely insane in Seattle. So to be where we are in Boise, you guys have been there. It's a beautiful town. It's easy. It's simple. It's laid back. We only have to pay for the truck, and then rent's cheap, for commercial rent. So
Boise is a nice city. There's really one of the American city what I like mostly here. And also last weekend I was looking a lot of. We have now this home and garden TV in Germany also. I was looking
the show Boise Boys.
No, I was looking flipping in Boise. I don't know. That's also 2 guys who
2 brothers. Timber and Love. Their show here is called Boise Boys.
Okay. So flipping
in Boise is that.
Flipping in Boise is a Boise. Okay, so I was watching a whole day just this because it was one episode after the next. So I was watching I think 8 to 10 shows, and but they talk also a lot of about Boise and what's going on in Boise, and I build up my knowledge more, so I can do. Next time I can show you some special places.
I can drive you around to some of the houses they flipped. It's fun because those 2 guys I used to detail their cars and they had just started that business when I started mine. And so they used to like and comment and share on my Instagram, and I do stuff. And then they, you know, hit it big with HGTV and got their show going. And so, darn it, I got out at the wrong time. But we see the guy with the black hair. We see him across the street at the gym all the time. He's over there in the mornings, and Nate has stopped him a couple times just to talk to him because he drives a Mercedes G-Wagon, G-Wagon that he bought from Lupo. So you know, Nate stopped and talked to him, and he's like, how do you know, like, how do you know so much about my car? Like, so it's just kind of fun. But they're nice guys.
Yeah, in the TV show they are very nice. That's no doubt. So
Yeah.
But what I enjoy on the show was also that they are talking a little bit, because I know you in Boise. I know the rec company in Boise. I was in Boise. It was from the beginning when you come with a plane and you see the mountains, and this it's a special feeling what you have when you come to Boise.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And what I like on this show was also that they are talking also a little bit what's going on in Boise,
history.
not just flipping the houses or pimp the houses or however you want.
Yeah.
So they also talking about people in Boise. They have contact to artists and what's going on in her mind, and so that was
well. And what's fun is Boise's still a small town, so knowing what, like, being able to watch the show and see what they're doing, like, you come here and you're like, hey, I've heard about that guy, or I saw this, or I've been there. So that's really cool. So I'm glad you got to watch that. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, I like Home and Garden TV is it's quite new in Germany, but it's funny. Yeah, it's normally I look this when I'm in the US, no? But now I can watch it also.
Yeah,
there.
That's cool. That's cool. Hey, my mom got on and commented on the chat. So says at the bottom, thank you all, very informative. Good night, son. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. Thank you for staying up this late to watch it. She's probably laying in bed watching it. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
Not cool.
Okay, so we have at this time not so many people, but I will go over a little bit. So Baha Güner is a guy from Germany, a detailer. He said good morning, everybody. So very cool.
Good morning.
He wake up. Then we have a wavy hand from a guy. I can't pronounce it because I think it's the Russian language or something like this. Yeah. So I don't know.
Cyprian.
Yeah. So then Bilal from South Africa is join us also. Hi, man, and Bilal, we are talking a lot of times about setting up a training facility in South Africa, and I mean, when the traveling situation comes back better, then I will fly down to South Africa, and then we can start about it. And also a detailer, he likes this idea of a detailing academy. So maybe that is also something what you can set up in South Africa. I don't know how the situation there is. I mean, in South Africa, there's a lot of car industry. You know? So Mercedes is producing there, BMW is producing there, also Volkswagen is producing there. I know Toyota is there also, and also the PSA group, what is Alfa Romeo, Renault, and all of this. I don't know what's about GMC, American cars, but I guess it's also GMC and Ford there. So there's a big car industry in South Africa, and maybe also in compare about this is also for sure a detailing scene. Yeah. And then Maria say thank you all, very informative. Good night soon. So I guess she is from the US.
Yeah.
You know
that's my loving mother, Maria Vengala. So
okay.
So A
No,
fun
okay.
story, Terry. I was born and raised half Mexican. My mother's name is Maria Guadalupe Delgado,
Okay.
and my dad's Irish. So that's how I was raised my whole life: half Irish, half Mexican. And
Right.
I went and took the ancestry, the 23andMe, and did my genetic testing. I found out I was only 8% Mexican and 60% Scandinavian.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and then 30% Irish. So and then a 2% mix of other stuff. So it was very funny to tell my mom.
Yeah.
So I'm only 8% Mexican, and that means you're only like 16% Mexican. She was a little surprised by that, because if you met my mom, she is a Mexican woman. So it's pretty funny to find out that just genetically I'm a dark-skinned Scandinavian. So very funny to find out. So but maybe that's where all the red in my beard comes from. But yeah, it's so I don't know, Terry, do you know Matt Gibb?
Don't think so.
He's he's an old school detailer in Australia. He's out of Adelaide. So we had him on. He was a big Festool user. I don't know if he's bought any Rupes, but he used to be a pretty prolific detailer on the scene back in the day. And in the last few years, he's kind of slowed down. He's working for another company now. But just a giant wealth of knowledge. I think he's been a professional for almost 30 years in the industry. So we had him on our podcast this week, and got to spend some time, catching up with him. I met him when he came to Boise, probably 5 or 6 years ago. Oh, actually, no, 7 years, 2013. So it was almost 7 years ago when he came visited my shop. So yeah, but I don't know if you knew him. When you said you were a Festool dealer, I was like, Matt Gibbs did a ton with Festool, or bought a lot of Festools, I should say, maybe.
I'll have to make contact with him. I'll say hello.
Yeah.
You'll have to send me his contact details after.
I will. Yeah. No, he's a really cool cat, and but yeah, just a brilliant guy. He's a technical guy to the very end with that stuff. So
Okay.
but yeah, I'll send him. I added you as a friend on Facebook finally. Apparently we have like 200 and something mutual friends, so we should have been friends already.
That's right.
But
you never know.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So
guys, one hour is done. The idea was always to do 1 hour roundabout. Was very, very nice for me to have this good morning talk with you guys, and I hope the people who join this maybe a little bit later, that they get also a little bit more information. It was very interesting, Terry. Thank you for explaining a little bit more about the Australia market. And so we learn also a little bit about London. We learn a little bit more about Boise, and also the situation in Germany. So that is the idea of this Detailing Talk Global, that we get 3 different continents on one table.
Yeah.
No, not a real table, but on this one table. And yeah, next time we will we do it next week again, and then we do it on a Boise comfortable time. I think it was 5 p.m.
3 o'clock, 3 or 5 p.m., something like that.
Yeah, something like this. I don't remember, but let me check before, when the people want to know it really. I have it in my already in my daily. So
Hans is in. Dang, I missed it.
Hey Hans, how's it going?
Hans is in the Netherlands.
Hans is from Netherlands, yeah. So thanks for joining us here. Now, I mean, we start very, very early, so for this Yeah, this it's 11 p.m. for me. So let me check if I can find quickly.
So I think that's like 4.
Yeah. I just have to
3 or 4. I think it's like 3 or 4 for me.
I have to check our
Maybe 2.
chat.
Yeah.
1 second, please. So no, this is for today. Yeah, this Boise time is 3 p.m.
There we go.
Next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. for Boise. It's
That is the time of our TRC live on Thursday at 3 o'clock. So I may be double streaming doing this with both going.
Okay.
Should we do it an hour earlier maybe then? Or is that going to be too late for you, Terry?
Yeah.
I can manage.
Now for Terry, it's very early. No, it's already 5.
Oh God! Oh no!
5 in the morning. So one
So
hour.
we can go
perhaps later then.
Yeah.
Good. So we do it at 4.
Well, I'm online from 3 to 5.
Are you
With
online
Bragg
from
Company.
3 to 5? So we do it at 5. Yeah, then do it at 5. So that is 1 in the night for me. That's no problem. And London is it midnight? So that's also fine. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, next week, Boise time 5.
There we go. Look at that.
And,
I can do that.
Midnight in London.
And here's what I'll do. I'll bring my party to us. Like, we'll get off my live and we'll all follow over and head on over to the Leaders Entrum live.
Yeah, sounds good. That sounds good.
Here we go.
There we go. Okay,
That'll
so
work.
yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, brother. I'm excited. This will be fun. Thank you, Terry, for coming and hanging out in your lunch break.
For your lunch break, yeah. So Ram and me, we have the day to handle now. Our day is starting.
Enjoy your Fridays or Thursday.
Thursday, not quite
Thursday
there yet.
for you.
Yeah.
Wednesday night for me.
You still have Wednesday, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much. We are.
Thanks a lot, guys. Good catching up as always. Catch you soon.
See you guys.
And